Hello everyone, welcome back to AI and Automation Weekly from Techie Talks AI. I am Abhijit and wow, what an absolutely massive week we have had in the world of AI. If you thought things were moving fast before, buckle up because this week has been nothing short of historic. We are talking about OpenAI signing a $3 billion partnership with AWS while completely restructuring their Microsoft relationship. We have got Meta in crisis mode with their chief AI scientist reportedly planning to exit and 600 employees being laid off. India just dropped comprehensive AI governance guidelines that could reshape how AI operates in the world's most populous nation. And get this, for the first time ever, AI startups have captured over half of all global venture capital funding. So if you are ready to dive deep into what might be the most consequential week in AI this year, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. Let's start with the biggest story of the week and honestly one of the biggest partnerships in tech history. On November, OpenAI and Amazon Web Services announced a jaw-dropping $3 billion multi-year strategic partnership. Here is what makes this huge. OpenAI is getting immediate access to AWS infrastructure featuring hundreds of thousands of state-of-the-art Nvidia GPUs. With the ability to scale to tens of millions of CPUs for their agentic workloads. This isn't just about compute power. It's about OpenAI diversifying beyond their traditional Microsoft partnership. And speaking of Microsoft, that relationship just got completely restructured. According to OpenAI's announcement from late October, Microsoft's stake has been reduced from 32.5% to approximately 27%. But here is a twist. Microsoft's IP rights have been extended through 2032 and now include models post AGI, which is absolutely massive. The new agreement gives OpenAI unprecedented freedom. They can now develop products jointly with third parties, release open-weight models meeting specific criteria, provide API access to US government national security customers, and Microsoft can now independently pursue AGI with third parties. Sam Altman said it perfectly. Scaling frontier AI requires massive reliable compute. Our partnership with AI strengthens the broad compute ecosystem that will power this next era. This is a fundamental shift in how the AI industry operates, moving from exclusive partnerships to a more distributed multi-cloud approach. Now let's talk about what's happening at Meta. And folks, it's not pretty. On November 11th, multiple reports emerged that Yann LeCun, Meta's chief AI scientist and Turing Award winner, is reportedly planning to leave the company to launch his own startup. For context, Yann LeCun is one of the godfathers of AI, a pioneer in deep learning who has been instrumental in Meta AI's research for years. His potential departure would be a massive blow to Meta's AI credibility. But it gets worse. Just days earlier, on November 3rd, Meta placed approximately 600 employees from its super intelligence labs on non-working notice until November 21st. These layoffs targeted legacy AI infrastructure teams, the fundamental AI research or the FAIR unit, and product-focused positions. In a memo viewed by Business Insider and CNBC, Chief AI Officer Alexander Wang wrote, "By reducing the size of our team, fewer conversations will be required to make a decision, and each person will be more load-bearing and have more scope and impact. Here is what's interesting though. The layoff did not affect TBD Labs, Meta's elite division housing recent high-profile recruits. And Meta is still committing to invest $600 billion in US infrastructure over the next 3 years. So what's really happening? It looks like Meta is doing a painful restructuring, cutting what they see as bureaucratic bloat while doubling down on elite AI talent and infrastructure. Whether this strategy works remains to be seen, especially if LeCun actually leaves. While companies are making moves, governments are stepping up regulation, and India just made a huge step forward. On November 7 to 10, 2025, India's Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology released the India AI Governance Guidelines 2025. This comprehensive framework is India's roadmap for responsible AI development ahead of hosting the AI Impact Summit 2026 in New Delhi. The guidelines are built on 7 core principles, what they are calling sutras: people centricity, accountability, fairness, explainability, transparency, ethical AI deployment, risk-based oversight. Here is what makes this practical. India is establishing an AI governance group as an interministerial body to coordinate between ministries, NITI Aayog, the Bureau of Indian Standards, and sectoral regulators like the RBI. They are also setting up an AI Safety Institute under the India AI Mission. Not a physical building yet, but an online entity that will conduct safety testing, develop standards, and provide technical expertise. The framework takes a risk-based approach with voluntary compliance encouraged through techno-legal solutions, but with additional obligations for high-risk applications and sensitive sectors. Professor Ajay Kumar Sood, Principal Scientific Advisor to the government, called it a strategic, coordinated, and consensus-driven approach to AI governance that balances innovation with accountability. This matters globally because India is the second largest user of tools like ChatGPT after the US. How India regulates AI will influence over 1.4 billion people and set precedents for other developing nations. And speaking of India, Google is making major moves there this week. On November 10 and 11, 2025, Google Cloud announced a significant expansion of local AI hardware capacity in India powered by Google's AI hypercomputer architecture with the latest Trillium TPUs. But here is what makes this revolutionary. Google is providing Gemini 2.5 with full data residency support in India. According to Google, this is a first for Google Cloud and a direct response to Indian customers' sovereignty needs. The new services include batch support for Gemini 2.5 Flash, now generally available, Document AI in preview for automated document processing with local support, grounding on Google Maps for local aware AI responses, and early testing access for the most advanced Gemini models with local ML processing. Google is also partnering with IIT Madras to launch Indic Arena, an independent platform run by the AI for Bharat Center where users across India can anonymously evaluate AI models on tasks unique to India's multilingual landscape. Professor Mitesh Kapra from IIT Madras said, "At AI for Bharat, our mission is to build AI for India's specific needs. Indic Arena will be that platform. This is huge because it shows how global tech giants are adapting to data sovereignty requirements while expanding capacity in one of the world's fastest growing AI markets. Now let's talk hardware because Nvidia is absolutely crushing it right now. As of November 2025, Nvidia maintains an estimated 80% to 94% market share in the AI GPU market. That's not just dominance, that's a near monopoly. Their Blackwell architecture is the key. These GPUs feature an astonishing 208 billion transistors engineered specifically for large language model training and inference. Systems like the GB200 superchip provide up to 30 times more performance than previous generations. Here is the scale we are talking about. Approximately 3 million Blackwell chips have shipped in 2025. That's massive production volume. But Nvidia isn't stopping there. The Rubin architecture, Blackwell's successor, is already entering production as of November 2025 with mass production expected by Q3 2026. Rubin will use TSMC's advanced 3nm manufacturing and HBM4 memory. CEO Jensen Huang has reportedly secured 30% of TSMC's entire 3nm production capacity for these chips. During a recent Taiwan visit, Huang declared no TSMC, no Nvidia, highlighting how critical this partnership is. But here is an interesting development. On November 11th, SoftBank announced it sold its entire $5.8 billion stake in Nvidia. This sparked fresh concerns about an AI bubble, though Nvidia's fundamentals remains incredibly strong. The bottom line, Nvidia's CUDA ecosystem and full-stack approach have created high switching costs that make it extremely difficult for customers to migrate to alternatives. That's a powerful moat in the AI infrastructure war. Let's talk money because the numbers this week are absolutely staggering. According to PitchBook data reported in late October 2025, AI startups captured 53% of total venture funding in 2025, marking the first year ever where AI claims the majority of funding. We are talking about $192.7 billion raised globally by AI companies in 2025. Total venture funding across all industries reached $310 billion through Q3 2025, the highest annual figure since 2022. Here is what's really interesting. The humanoid robotics segment stood out with 17 deals in Q3 alone, more than any other market segment. There are now 4 humanoid robot unicorns after 2 new ones emerged in Q3. Just this week, we saw impressive raises. Wonderful raised $100 million Series A at a $700 million valuation to scale multilingual AI agents. My Tomorrows secured $29 million for experimental therapy access. CarboCode raised $15 million for human identical milk lipids using AI. Trust Data raised $6 million for real-time web data infrastructure for AI agents. This funding concentration shows investors are betting big that AI will transform every industry. But it also raises questions about whether we are in a bubble, especially given SoftBank's Nvidia exit. While we are talking about scale, Anthropic just made one of the biggest enterprise AI deployments ever. Recently, Anthropic and Cognizant announced that Cognizant will deploy Claude to up to 350,000 employees globally. That's not a typo, 350,000 employees. Cognizant CEO Ravi Kumar S. said enterprises are moving beyond simple productivity gains towards a more connected agentic future. The partnership focuses on software engineering productivity with Claude Code, legal modernization for large code bases, agentification using multi-agent systems with human-in-the-loop controls, industry solutions starting with financial services. Paul Smith, Anthropic's Chief Commercial Officer, emphasized companies require trusted AI that combines cutting-edge performance with safety and reliability, which is why hundreds of thousands of businesses trust Claude. Anthropic also expanded Claude memory to all paid users this month, bringing it in line with ChatGPT and Gemini. The feature includes project-based spaces, incognito mode, and tested safeguards. This deployment represents the agentified enterprise vision where AI agents collaborate with humans to accelerate transformation while maintaining governance and compliance. Alright folks, let's bring this all together because we have covered a lot. This week of November 6 to 12, 2025 marks a pivotal inflection point in AI history. Infrastructure is consolidating. OpenAI diversifying to AWS while maintaining Microsoft ties. Corporate restructuring is happening. Meta cutting 600 while retaining elite talent. Governments are stepping up regulation. India's comprehensive guidelines setting global precedents. Investment is concentrating. 53% of all VC money flowing to AI for the first time ever. Enterprise adoption is accelerating. 350,000 employees at one company getting AI tools. Hardware dominance continues. Nvidia shipping 3 million Blackwell chips. The key theme: scale, sovereignty, and safety. Companies are racing to scale compute and adoption. Nations are asserting data sovereignty. And everyone's talking about AI governance. Looking ahead, watch for how Meta recovers from the LeCun situation, whether OpenAI can execute on its AWS capacity, how India's governance guidelines influence other nations, and whether the AI funding boom continues or we see correction. What do you think about these developments? Are we in an AI bubble or is this sustainable growth? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this valuable, smash that like button, subscribe for weekly AI updates, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a breaking story. And remember, if you need any AI or automation or chatbot help, please visit Schogini.com. Thanks for watching AI and Automation Weekly. I am Abhijit and I'll see you next week with more cutting edge AI news. Thank you. Bye bye.